Of the welfare and work debate. We have one of the most generous welfare systems in the world, but some recipients say it's still not enough. Is it time we looked at completely overhauling Centrelink?
It's a walk Karen Hirsch has done many times, hoping maybe, finally, she'll get a win. But every visit to the job agency ends the same way.
This is the hard thing. It's like you apply for these jobs and within a day or two you get an email saying, oh, we're really sorry, but you're not the preferred candidate. And yeah, it just gets really depressing and frustrating.
This grandmother says she's applied for 750 jobs since falling out of employment close to a decade ago.
But this has been going on now for 8 years. And I say every time, you know, okay, maybe this month or this year will be the case. But I'm getting older. I'm 62. I'm not eligible for the pension until I'm 66.
For years, Karen has been forced to rely solely on her New Start allowance of $40 a day.
You pay your bills or you struggle to pay them, that's it, there's no life.
I would say to her, you know, you're not alone in that situation. There are many others who are experiencing the same challenge. Many of those people are older Australians.
How would you describe their current New Start allowance?
It's untenable.
There's an urgent push to raise the New Start allowance by $75 a week from around $270 to $345. It's triggered fierce debate.
Welfare money doesn't just come out of this big pool of government money. We, as taxpayers, put our money into that pool.
It's just too low. No, it is.
So New Start's not working. It's very clear that it is not working.
The Australian Council of Social Services is behind the calls for an overhaul.
For every job, there are 8 people competing, looking for work for that job. So despite your best efforts, the odds are not always on people's side.
Jacqueline Phillips is the organisation's Director of Policy and Advocacy.
It's not like if you get New Start that you don't have any expectation to do anything whilst you're on the payment. You have to look for 20 jobs a month, and that takes a fair bit of determination and work to put in job application after job application.
We would all like to give everybody more money, but there's only a certain amount to go around.
3AW broadcaster Neil Mitchell staunchly opposes raising New Start.
I would have thought $75 is too much. I think there's merit in reviewing it regularly, consistently, every year if you like. But you have to look at the bottom line. You can't just keep dragging money out of a system which we as taxpayers fund. It's not fair to us.
It needs to be increased immediately so that people can actually get by from their day-to-day and to actually benefit their lives so that they can actually get out there and start looking for work.
I thought, oh, look, you know, I'll just apply for a few jobs and something will come along, I'll get an interview. I'm pretty good at interviews, I'm pretty good at, you know, speaking. So, but in the end, it didn't work out that way. It just shocked me.
Mike Presland from Melbourne has worked across several industries during his lifetime.
15, I joined the New Zealand Army as an apprentice. I worked as a service manager, design, print broking, website design.
But despite his wealth of experience, the grandfather says he found it nearly impossible to find work when he lost his job 2.5 years ago.
I counted them. I had 430 CVs that I put out, applications for jobs that were targeted and written specifically for those jobs. But after all of those years, 2.5 years, I got 6 interviews.
I have a lot to offer an employer. I'm not going to go off and get pregnant. I'm not looking at giving up work anytime soon.
Bill Shorten indicated New Start would be raised if the ALP won power. However, Labor's loss means an increase is unlikely anytime soon. The government telling ACA in a statement around 2/3 of those granted New Start allowance exit payment within 12 months, and the proportion of working age Australians receiving welfare benefits has fallen to its lowest level in 30 years at 14.3%.
We'll certainly be working with this government to ensure that they are forced to think about this problem anew, do a real rethink on their position on New Start, and think about it in the context of a slowing economy, with growing unemployment.
Can we really afford it?
Our modelling shows that the cost of this measure would be not insignificant. It would be a $3.2 billion per annum expense. But to put that in context, that's less than one third of the cost of the Morrison government's proposed high-end tax cuts. The tax cuts that would go to people on over $200,000 a year.
New start. Who came up with that word? It's not a new start, trust me. It is not. It's degrading.
We're running a Facebook poll to see if you think New Start should be increased. 65% say it should be and 35% say it shouldn't. There's still time to have your say. Just head to our Facebook page.